Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We Are All Psychic. And today we have Jennifer Love back for the Love.
Hello.
Hello, Jennifer. And do you still think we're all psychic?
Yes, I do.
Time. Misty is not here today, listeners. This is a video podcast on Spotify. And you'll finally get to see Jennifer Love and her angel wings. They're real. I can see them when she's not standing or sitting right there. In my mind, but I don't ever see her any other way except in my mind, I think.
This is where I record, so I always sit here. Yeah.
So, listeners, if you're new, we do a monthly podcast with Jennifer Love talking about love and metaphysics and how to do it all, and how it can be done a different way, and how to love yourself was our first one, and then you have love to give, and I think this is probably the 7th, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Quite a few.
Lost track.
Quite a few, and I've been educated, and I love it. So tonight we're going to talk about how to keep the spark alive if you're in a relationship or you're trying to keep some fire going, or just some like passion for each other still.
Yeah, because it happens to everybody.
Yeah,
It is even new couples, couples who've just had a child, couples who've been married forever. Yeah. Anybody who's going through any kind of transition or stress or life stress, it happens to everybody. So it's not anything to be like ashamed of or even embarrassed about. It's just, it happens. So, relationships ebb and flow. So you just have to be able to recognize and rebound.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
That's true. And there's so many different ways which I will learn from you. I have a few ideas. And
I forgot empty nesters. That's a big thing, especially if you're listening to this, right after she's going to release it. It's a big thing right now because a lot of people have teenagers that are graduating or kids going off to college, and like it's a big deal when you've had your baby in your house and then all of a sudden they're venturing off into the world, and then you're like, okay, now I'm back with my spouse or significant other and there's no child here and the dynamic has changed. So now we're relearning our dynamic all over again. So it's different. Yeah,
definitely. That's a big one. That's a huge one, because a lot of couples I know, they jokingly are like, I can't wait. But when it happens, they're like, oh gosh, and they just don't know what to do with each other.
Right. It's just different.
To each other without feeling like the children are always, you have to be an example all the time and stuff like that,
Yeah.
So
it just changes, and I think we have to recognize that these are just like life stages, and it's okay that we just have to relearn each other and change with it, and just recognize that this is normal. Everybody goes through the same kind of growing pains to change in relationships, and that's okay. You don't have to be like weirded out by it or think that, oh my gosh, this relationship is not good anymore because we're in this weird phase right now. But it's normal and everybody does it, and it's okay. So know that everybody goes through these phases of like, are we okay? Is this weird? The dry spell or whatever you want to call it. It's normal. It's okay. Yeah.
Sometimes, especially for women, especially like after they've just given birth. I know some women may want to be more intimate more often, but from women I've known, it's like they are so busy with the baby, they're so tired. It's the last thing on their mind, and they can't feel the passion and kindle it up because they're so busy with this huge thing that just happened,
and especially when you've just had a baby, your body is different. You just have to take a step back and start with anybody, whether you've just had a baby or not. You have to be comfortable with your own body. That is step number one. You can't be intimate with somebody else if you're not comfortable with your own body. And this is so important, everyone. This is step number one with reigniting the spark with your lover.
Big point there.
You have to be comfortable with your own body. And so this may sound a little bit forward or whatever, but take the time to pleasure yourself.
Yeah,
If you want
totally.
to be, having a lot of passion with your partner, just take that time to reorient yourself to your own pleasure. What brings you
Yeah.
pleasure? And it doesn't always have to be like sexual pleasure. It could be like what kind of clothes feel good to you and
Right.
what tastes good to you and what kind of music is pleasing to you. Anything that brings you pleasure. It doesn't always have to be a sexual thing.
Like a
It could
nurture
be
and romance and all that stuff yourself,
absolutely.
be
Yeah.
your own girlfriend or
Yeah.
boyfriend, or
Romance
significant
yourself.
other.
I'm a
Great
big
idea.
proponent of buying yourself flowers.
I do that
I
a lot.
tell my clients who are trying to bring like a lover into their lives to buy themselves flowers every week. Like if you want a boyfriend or a lover to be buying you roses every week, buy yourself roses.
Yeah.
Just whatever you want to bring into your life, you do that for yourself.
Yeah.
Romance yourself. Yeah. So, like the first thing, you know, pleasure yourself. Because if you don't know what brings you pleasure, how is your partner going to possibly know what
Yeah.
brings you pleasure if you don't know what brings you pleasure? And, especially after a baby, women are just culturally shamed for their appearance, which is
And yeah, and as we get older,
normal.
we are too, as we get
Yeah,
older,
yeah.
same thing happens.
We're shamed for having loose skin or stretch
Mhm.
marks or like, but all of these things are totally normal when you've
Right.
just given birth to a human. So I don't know why our culture is shaming us for
They're
totally
trying to pin
normal
us in our
things.
places. I think. I
Yeah,
don't know, because
right.
women are
Yeah.
getting,
So just
talking back now.
start to embrace your curves, ladies. Like this is a very normal thing. So we just have to, as a society, just start to normalize and embrace imperfections or what we consider imperfections. They're really not, but just
Yeah.
embrace what we think are
Well, you are.
imperfections because
Yeah.
everybody has stretch marks, everybody has cellulite. It's just that when we see it in TV or movies or magazines, it's been like
It's been
edited
like
out
made fun
or
of,
airbrushed
or
out.
yeah, and
Yeah.
even like the character is like a archetype of something
Yeah.
silly or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
stereotype of some sort, and it just doesn't,
Right.
represent what the real world is like,
Yeah.
to me anyway.
And they have, 25-year-olds portraying teenagers in TV shows and stuff
Yeah,
like that. They're just like, it's not real.
yeah, like
Yeah.
65-year-old actor men dating like 23-year-old
Yes.
actress women,
Yes.
and they're
Not
married
real.
in the
Not real.
movies, and they're building
That
and
doesn't happen.
kindling, or it just doesn't work for me at
So just
47.
like
Sorry,
just honor your body as like your stretch marks are a badge of honor. Your body's a changing landscape and it will just continue to be as you get older, so just embrace it and
Yeah,
start getting intimate with yourself because men are not ashamed of their bodies the way that women are. It's very interesting.
it is interesting.
They just
They just
aren't.
aren't. Yeah.
um but I'm sure like there are, as we get older, um men get sensitive about certain things too. I'm not trying to exclude the
Well,
men.
sometimes they're
um
also taught to hide all weaknesses. So maybe
yes.
if they do feel it, they may like box it up and just,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
So I'm definitely not saying don't appreciate your men in your life, but we all have to get more comfortable with like feeling comfortable in our own skin. So
right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So I
great.
think that's the first step, is like the first step to intimacy is, getting comfortable with yourself, I think.
Yeah, and I think you can find, if you're younger, you can find there new, even if you're older and you haven't really found your vibe, your sexual vibe or
Sure.
your intimate vibe, you can find a partner who may be willing to teach you, and that's always fun too.
Yeah.
As long as you're comfortable with your body and you're just not sure what to do with it, that's another angle, and having someone like, for me, if I just met a man with scars all over, I wouldn't be like, ew, I'd want to go kiss all those scars if I loved him. He has scars, I want to kiss
Yeah.
them all. So, I mean, if someone loves you, they're not going to care. They're going to love it all,
Totally.
Oh,
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. And, if you're single, you can even be in like an experimental phase. I'm going to date this person, I'm going to date that person
yeah.
and see what I like.
Yeah,
Who can
true.
pleasure me the best?
Who can teach me more?
Yeah, yeah. It could be like that, you know?
Yeah, again.
So if you're with somebody already, like let's say you're already in a relationship and you're like, how do I, so we're doing okay, or we're like, we're just trying to help, keep the spark alive, or just wanting to increase, our connection. So you want to like create these, what they call these rituals of connection. So you want to make connecting with your person a daily thing, or a priority in your day. And I didn't even realize that I was doing it with my boyfriend until I was reading this um, as a thing that you should do. But we actually do connect every day with our like good morning, good night texts,
Yeah.
because we don't live together. So we connect over text or the phone every day. And I, when I was preparing to do this podcast, I didn't even realize that that was a thing that actually, it's kind of a ritual that we do every day. And it really does help us like reconnect at the
Yeah.
beginning and the end of the day, to kind of like, well, how was your day and what happened and da da da. And it's just very comforting to have that ritual of like,
It
I
is.
know at the beginning and the end of the day, we're going to reconnect somehow. Even if it's like really brief, it's going to
Yeah.
happen. And I just know that it's just like a touch point that I have with him,
And
that,
he likes it too and appreciates it too,
yeah,
probably, right? It's like
yeah,
he loves
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. And it does. And he said to me, like, I said, I really like that you still text me good morning and good night. And he said, well, I'm glad it's not getting boring. And I
Oh,
was like, no, 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 it's not
no,
boring.
it's
It's not boring at
dreamy.
all.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So but I told him how much I appreciate it too. And I think that that was important for him to hear, that I still appreciate it.
Yeah, it does.
So, but it doesn't have to be that. I'm not saying like you have to do what we do. But for some people, it might be, we're going to sit on the couch together every night and hold hands.
Yeah.
We're going to
Watch our
go for a
show.
walk
Yeah.
together. Yeah, we're going to watch our show together. We're going to, I'm going to bring him a cup of coffee every morning. Maybe we're going to take a shower together. Whatever floats your boat. I'm not
Yeah.
telling you what your ritual is going to be. For everybody, it's going to be different. Maybe you're going to go walk the dog together.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going to take out the trash together. I don't know, like whatever fits in
Or
your
maybe you'll do
life.
something very naughty on Tuesdays and
Yeah,
Thursdays at eight
maybe
o'clock.
that's going to be your ritual.
And
But I
then you
would
do it on Wednesday too, anyway, because Tuesday was so exciting and you can't wait till Thursday. Yeah, that's how you keep the spark alive.
I would recommend you pick a daily thing. If you want it to, you want to make it a daily thing,
Yeah,
because that's
definitely.
just kind of like your daily touch point. Um, that makes it a ritual
It's
if
kind
you're
of like
doing it
it's
every day.
kind of like a love nickname, like baby or
Sure.
anything like that. And people like if they've been dating a while, sometimes they'll have their own unique ones that they name each other. And
Some people love
you know,
nicknames, some people can't
yeah,
stand it.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
all individual, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, if you want to make those kind of rituals of connection, that's supposed to also increase your intimacy, and that helps keep your spark alive. Um, Emotional intimacy is also important. And the Gottman Institute, which is these two psychologists who've been studying marriage and divorce for like 40 years. It's like a ridiculous amount of time that these psychologists have been studying this. But they have found that a 6-second kiss is essential for intimacy.
No.
So I'm not suggesting you count it, but I'm just saying that, if you think about it, that's a kind of a long, lingering kiss. It's not just that, you're done. Um, so you want to make sure that when you do have that physical kiss with your partner, it lingers. You want to
Yeah,
be a little bit more physically present. Um,
vulnerable. Yeah,
yeah.
like open
There's
to feeling their love and not just in the motions, doing the
Yeah.
motions. Like if it's 6 seconds that you usually kiss, maybe, push it to where you think you should pull apart and then just push a little farther, wait a little longer, see what happens, see where it leads, see how they
At,
react.
yeah, as I've been studying tantra as well, there's a different way to hug too. in tantra as
Oh,
you're
do
like
tell.
exploring your partner. So, you know, when you first meet someone and you're doing that kind of like awkward hug where your maybe chest is touching, but your hips are faced outward. So your hips are
Yeah.
not touching the person, but you're kind of like that lean in hug, you know, and so your
Yeah.
shoulders might be touching the person, but your hips are kind of not. You're faced outward. The author of the book called it a Donald Duck hug. Which I was like, that's interesting, like kind of like the shape of Donald Duck's body kind of
Yeah.
outwards. And I
It's
was like, all right,
hilarious.
I get it, you know. Um, so you want to do with your partner, you know, you want not with a stranger, with your
Yeah.
partner, you want to do a more emotionally intimate hug where your hips are pressed together when you hug. So you want to make sure like the full front of your body and your hips are pressed against theirs, more of like an implanting kind
Yeah,
of
and it's
hug.
kind of like at first it's a little awkward with the feet. Like, do I go
Yeah,
in?
it
Do I go
can
around?
be.
It's okay to
Yeah.
be awkward at first because that's how
So
you build
yeah,
the
you
regular.
have to
Yeah.
stagger your feet, you have
Or
to
you
stagger
stand on
your
theirs
knees.
or they stand on
Mhm.
yours or
Mhm.
that can happen too.
Yeah, in order for your hips to meet, someone has to stagger their feet or knees,
Yeah.
and depending on, you know, who's taller and, you know, who's, you know, where you're facing and da da da. So yeah, you have to kind of see where you fit, right? Who fits where and whatnot. But eventually, you know, you figure it out and how you fit together. But yeah, you definitely want your hips pressed together. And that's, you know, creates more emotional intimacy, physical intimacy.
And it lines up like all the chakras too. When you're like
It
that,
does.
it just lines and like
Mhm.
with the boyfriend, my boyfriend, when
That's
I have all these
tantra.
neck problems.
Tantra. Yeah,
If
yeah.
I hug him and I always hug him, but if I just like hug him and I just start sinking into it, my neck will pop where it needs to. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Isn't that
That's like
great?
Kundalini energy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I'm
Yeah.
trying to do it, it won't do it. But if it just kind of, like hug him, it'll just like pop. It's great.
Wow. I wish that
Yeah.
happened to me. I have to go to
It's
therapy.
amazing. Yeah. I needed it. When it's happened, I've always needed it. It's really weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so the last thing I want to talk about is creating desire. So Esther Perel is a relationship expert that I've talked about a lot, and she's written extensively on infidelity, which is, you know, kind of the opposite of what we're going for, right? When we're talking about keep the spark alive, but it's important to it's important to study infidelity if you want to avoid it, right?
Right.
So um, she talks a lot about how to keep monogamy flourishing by creating desire. And I think we've talked about this before. And I know Misty mentioned it in a previous podcast like months ago. But when she was talking about having a girls' weekend
Oh yeah.
or like a
Yeah.
girls' trip, you know, and the most important thing to create desire is to maintain your own individuality while you're in the partnership. So that creates desire for you and your partner.
You get more
So
and more
you can't just
interesting. They
like,
get more and more interesting. Like
yeah, you
there's no
can't just
codependent
like
stuff.
be a
Or, yeah.
couple constantly, you know.
Yeah.
And I know,
Yeah.
you know, these people who just like go everywhere together, do everything together, and they like have no independent life outside of the relationship.
I've
Like
been
they
in
do
relationships like
everything
that. Yeah.
together. And
Yeah.
so you both have to have lives, independent lives outside of your relationship, whether that
Yeah.
be your career, whether that be your hobbies or just your interests. Like you have to have something that's external to the two of you so that when you go away, you can come back together and like share what's different, you know.
Right.
Maybe it's like you know had readings and that something interesting today that you learned about yourself, or you know, you and your cats, you know, talking about your cats, and then your partner's talking about his day, and you know, whatever it is, you know,
Yeah.
my boyfriend's really into Star Wars. He loves that shit.
Oh, I love Star
So like,
Wars. My
yeah,
boyfriend and I are both really into it, and we watch the Kenobi right now. Like, I guess you know about Kenobi having come out.
yeah, he got me all
Oh, it's
into
so
it. I've been
good. Oh,
watching
his
that,
last
and then
night's so good. Oh, it was so good.
yeah, so like, so yeah, it's a way, you know, you can maintain your individuality while also maintaining the connection. Like you can be interested in what your partner's interested in, but then also, your own stuff. Like he listens to me talking about my dancing constantly, but he doesn't do it. But he listens to me talk about it all the time. So Esther Perel, who I just talked about, has these cool cards, this like card game. And it's called Where Should We Begin? And it's like more of like a conversation starter. And it's like a whole game, but like examples are like, I'm my own worst enemy when, and then you kind of answer.
Oh, okay.
I'm the most judgmental when it comes to blank, and then you answer. I've always been embarrassed about whatever.
Yeah.
So these are great like conversation starters when you want to
stimulate some like emotional intimacy right there.
Yeah. And it's not just for couples. This can be for like families, groups of people, like, because these aren't just coupley type of questions. These are just anybody type of questions.
The stuff you don't say.
Yeah. And it's especially good for men who have difficult times like talking about emotional things. This is one of my favorite decks. This is called The And, THEAND. It's a very unfortunate name. I don't know why they named
the two most common words ever.
It's a very strange language. Like, because it has nothing to do with what it is. So I'm kind of wondering like why they named it that. But this is the dating edition, and I love this deck. I would take it with me on like first dates because it's these questions about like, they're just like really good emotional dating questions. When's the last time you held someone? When was the last time you cried? Why? What is your advice to me regarding dating you?
How do people react? Do you like that when you pull those out? I mean, you gotta, I guess, lighten it up, or does it?
Because there's some fun ones too. Like, but men are actually, when I've experienced this on a date, men are actually appreciative of it because they don't have to come up with conversation, and they're usually extremely honest as well. Because it's just like, oh, you're just asking me this? Yeah, I'll tell you.
That's cool.
Okay.
It's an
it's an unusual question usually, and it's just like, oh, okay. And then they don't really have time to like filter or like think about lying,
and then you start getting natural conversation going. And nice.
I usually get one or two questions out, and then you're right, the conversation just goes. It's not like we're playing a formal game where it's like you ask a question, then you ask a question. It's usually just two or three questions, and then we're just talking. But my boyfriend in particular liked this game because he does have a hard time sometimes emotionally articulating what he was thinking and feeling. So yeah, I feel like he is kind of a shy person in general. So I felt like I was dominating the conversation a lot. I like to talk, right? Hello. So I felt like I was dominating the conversation a lot. So I brought this so I wouldn't do that. So he would talk too, and I would get like more out of him about like, what are you thinking? How do you feel? There's this other deck called Best Self Intimacy, I think.
Oh, cool. Okay, I see
this is a lot. This is one that's on Instagram a lot. It has like 6 different areas of like subjects. So you can pick the past, random, life, relationship, intimacy, or about you. 6 different
like Trivial Pursuit.
Kind of, yeah. Cool. And so you just kind of select a color or whatever. When you experience stress or overwhelm, how do you like to be supported? So it's just another type of game, right? To get
It's cool.
conversation prompts, right? I
Yeah.
love this crap. Like this is the
It
best.
reminds me of
Okay.
like when I know you probably played this game when we were kids. I don't know if they still play it, but the Never Have I Ever drinking game.
Yep.
Just kind of how you get to know people when you're about 18 or 20. I mean, sorry, 21 or 22. You
Mhm.
know, you
And
know.
then I have these other like naughtier versions of the same type of thing
Awesome.
where they're like more sexual type questions. This is when
Yeah.
you've known the person a little bit more. You're not going to bring this on a first date. You're going to like save this for later. Um, how would you tell a love interest their breath stinks? Okay, that's not that fun. Um, what movie is most likely to make you cry, but you'd still watch it again? Okay, these are all dating ones. This is not the one. Yeah, this is the dating one. This is the sexual one. Sorry. Wrong one. Oh, you've been dating someone online for 2 months and things are going great. That's another. Your partner admits that they miss nothing about their ex except the sex. Is this a deal breaker? A, yes, because that's disrespectful. B, no, because they're just being honest. C, it depends if they're still friends with the ex or not. D, no, but they shouldn't have said that out loud.
Wow, that's some conversation right there. That's like getting some meat. Yeah, I like
So, and
that. Yeah.
there's like really weird ones. Would you rather serve 2 years of prison time or have a new baby with your ex? Like just like random stuff. Like that would never happen. Like who does that? Yeah. So those like
That's a
I just
laugh
like
one, yeah.
those conversation games to help create intimacy. I just think it does help keep the spark alive because it's different. You're just going to start new avenues of conversation that I guarantee you have not before.
Yes, that's a brilliant idea. That's a really
Yeah.
good idea. And yeah,
Another thing that is sometimes fun if you don't have already, there are tarot decks with shall we say sexual themes.
I've seen those.
Um
Yeah.
yeah, so I have this one called Sex Fortunes that has like different positions, and I don't know if I
Yeah.
could show this or not um on the
I think
video.
we have to put explicit if it's anything explicit. I just have
All
to
right,
leave a
I
warning.
won't just show. It has different positions
Okay.
of so there's like nude people on here. So like you could just like shuffle and pick a card and then be like, all right, we're doing this position. All right, that looks fun. Let's try that. So it would just be like something random, like, okay, we'll just try a new position. We
I
haven't done
know
that
some
for a
people who
while.
would love that. Yes.
Right? Like it's just
Yeah.
fun, and it's just a different way to kind of use your tarot deck. And if you do read tarot, you could tell your partner what the tarot means. What does that card mean? And like what's the meaning
Yeah.
behind it, right? And then of course this is the tarot of sexual magic.
Oh, I've
Um
never seen that one. Oh, wow.
yeah, this is kind of the same thing. There's a lot of different positions on there. But
Okay.
it's definitely this one definitely tells like more of a story.
Yeah.
So I think it would be more like open to interpretation. If you do read tarot, this is probably more interesting to you, like as a
Okay.
tarot reader for
I
people
think I
that
might
do
try that
read.
deck. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
But the sex fortunes one is definitely just like here's a position, go for it.
At
Um,
11:30 p.m. tonight, we will be doing this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's just something different, I think, to like, yeah, keep the
That's
spark
fun. It
alive,
is
spice
fun.
things up. If you just want to try something different, hey, it's different.
Yeah, it is
And
really
if
cool.
not, don't do it. Totally
No,
fine.
that sounds fun. I'm definitely getting that last deck. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That one
Yeah.
sounds like right up my alley for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying
So
to think. What do you think about like when people are in relationships and the sparks, they're both want the spark back, let's say, but maybe there's some resentments that build up because of just all nothing. Nobody cheated. Nobody's really fighting. It's just the stress of everyday living. There's nothing they're giving to everybody else. They're giving to their job. They're giving to their children. how do they give to each other again like they did when they first got together? And for a long time, probably for them to have gotten married for the, for the most part. Like how to open that conversation up to trying and working on it together. Because I think that kind of has to be there too.
Yeah.
Both people have to want to work on it,
Both people have to want to work on it. It can start with just one person,
Yeah.
which is hard for people to hear sometimes. They're like, well, how can I save it if I'm the only one working on it? You can actually save it with
You have
only
to
one
start
person
bringing
working on
them,
it.
like
Yeah,
noticing
you
what
can
they are
start bringing
losing.
them
Yeah.
along, right? But
Yeah.
but I have to, I mean, I have to say, like, there can't just be one person like paddling the boat for a year,
Mhm.
like you start paddling the boat and then your partner starts helping, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would think like after like a 3-month period, your partner should be like paddling the boat with you. But
Yeah.
you can start alone is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So what happens is, if there is like little to no communication or like a lot of resentment, like you said, um, you want to first start, that connection or intimacy with yourself, that, self love, self pleasure. And once you feel like you're kind of filled up, that, you feel like, okay, I feel like good about myself, I can like push that out now.
And then be
Um,
yourself around them
yeah,
again,
then
like
you
you
want
used to
to
be.
extend that to your partner. And that's the part
Yeah.
that people find hard is like, they're like, well, why do I want to do anything nice for this person who's not being nice to me? But that's
Yeah.
what the step you have to take. That's the part that's
Yeah.
hard for people. It's like, well, why should I, you know, invest or love this person who's not being loving towards me right now? That's the step you have to take. You have to take a step towards, in order for them to come along with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the hardest part. And I think, the best thing you could do is speak your partner's love language. So if you've been together for a while, you know what your partner's love language is, and you have to love them in the way that they want to be loved, not the way that you want to love them,
Right.
if that makes sense.
That makes
So if
sense.
you know that your partner's love language is physical touch, then you need to go and give them a hug, whether you feel like it or not,
Yeah. And
which
then
is
you
hard.
probably will, and
It's
if
hard.
they start sinking into it, which it might take 3 or 4 times,
And they might go,
take a
why are
week.
you hugging me? It feels awkward.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
might like come up behind them and give them a hug and they'll stiffen, they'll be
Yeah.
like, why are you doing
This is
this?
different.
Yeah. And it might take a few weeks to be
Yeah.
like, this is not normal. Why are you doing this? Why are you giving me kisses? Why are you holding my hand? But after a while, it will sink in.
Well, listeners, as you probably have listened before, if you have, it's a psychic podcast. We haven't had something like this happen in a while, but we just had a crazy Zoom experience with audio, video, the whole shebang. And we'll see what's here. Maybe I'll leave it in the video if it's interesting enough. Maybe you'll see something we didn't. Um, but we couldn't remember what we were talking about, so we were just
It's
gonna kind of
fine.
let you know you can go check out Jennifer Love at jenniferlove.me on her website, and she's on Everclear under Jennifer L, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I have all her information. I'll put it in the description. You know the drill, listeners. And Jennifer, thank you as always for being here. And every
Yeah.
time we had to postpone this one a few times because everybody is like all three of us. Just finally, we're just like we just got to do it. We wanted
Yeah.
to, it just got, and also of course I want to thank Misty and our sponsor Everclear, and that's like where we both work as part of our jobs. Everclear is an advice app where you get advice from psychics and empaths so you can create the life you deserve. So, and listeners, thank you as always, always, always for listening and watching if you're watching. And if you're not watching, thank you for watching if you would like to be watching, I guess. And watching if you can't hear it and you're just watching, I don't think there's, well, I don't know, maybe you can see energy like some people on the podcast and you can just see what we're talking about. But then again, I think Spotify has closed captions. So thank you so much for reading in that case. And Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you. So fun.
It's always so fun. Have a nice night, everyone. Peace out.
Bye.